Moon gang. Hello, hello, hello. Happy earnings day, my fellow apes. Ape Nation, it's going to be a good one today. Let's get this out. Well, a little too zoomed in today. Hello, hello, hello. Moon gang. We are so ready for today. Very, very excited. A lot of things to talk about. I am jacked up. I can feel it. I can feel God in this Chili's tonight, if you guys know what I mean. So, okay, AMC, it is an earnings day. That happens tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Time. I will be live streaming that. Instead of doing my update video, we'll stream the entire earnings call. We'll do some live commentary, see what's going on. It was a lot of fun last time, so I'm more than excited to stream that once again today. Actually, let's just go through everything quickly. Let's come back to AMC. GME right now trading at 151. Let's show you the short interest on that. Bad mamma jamma. Today, utilization 47%, shares on loan 7.42 million, and the short interest on GME is 12.6%. In terms of the overall market, on Friday, it managed to hit a new all-time high. Right now, we're still pretty close. We might be seeing another new high today. That's the S&P 500, just so everyone knows. Crypto looking hot, hot, hot. You know me, guys. I've been very public of the fact that I'm in crypto, but I'm not actively trading it. 1, 2, 3 decades down the road, I'll either be very right or very wrong. So Bitcoin trading at 46,000, coming off of sub 40. Ethereum pushing almost 3,200. Cardano pushing $1.48, $1.50. Even Doge running off of 19 cents up to 26 cents right now after hitting 20. So crypto catching a wave, looking very strong there. So if you're in crypto, if you maybe have a similar, I guess, methodology of me of passive investment of let's see how it does or doesn't work out. Once again, not actively trading it. I just buy the major dips and then I just want to see if I'm right way down the road. We could talk about that a little bit more in a second. Before we get into all the AMC stuff though, I do want to point out for any, when people ask me, beyond these moon stocks of AMC and GME, what are some of my favorite sectors? I always say EV, I say esports, and one I really like is gambling, specifically online gambling. So for those of you who've been paying attention to that sector, DraftKings did announce this morning that they acquired Golden Nugget Online Gaming. So DKNG acquired GNOG, and DraftKings, I believe, is up this morning on that news. Let me just double check that. DKNG. It was up earlier today when I was looking into it. Yeah, so DraftKings up. So that's why it's up today. It did acquire this other company, and as more and more states, maybe I'm thinking about this too simplistically, but as more and more states in the US legalize online gambling, companies such as DraftKings, Golden Nugget, Penn. I know FanDuel isn't publicly traded right now, but one day it will hit the market and people will be able to invest in that. I just don't really see where it's going, but overall DraftKings did acquire it. It was a $1.56 billion deal. So just in case you hear anything about DraftKings today, it acquired a rival, now a part of its own company, just so everyone is familiar with that. Let me get that out of there. Now let's turn our attention to AMC. So just so you know, this is now done. The vote, it concluded 24 hours before it, so it stopped at basically 5 p.m. last night. Right here, it's over 1,000 per person who voted. Remember, this is, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, why are we talking about this Say Technologies thing? Today is AMC's earnings call. They're doing a live webcast, and it's the first time that they're turning it over to questions from the public, from investors, to be able to post a question or upvote a question that you like and you want to know the answer to. You have to not only create an account, but verify your shares. Once again, if you want to do this, the time has already passed, but as you can see, a lot of people have already done it. At least 63.5 thousand people have done this already. In doing so, we see that in this one question, there's 67.7 million verified shares. And when you I don't want to do like a hardcore statistical explanation of what's going on, but basically you don't want to take this just over 1,000 number and multiply it by 4 million, which people are getting that from early June when Adam Aron told us that there's 4.1 million unique entities that own AMC. Because right now, I'm not going to say let's cut that down to 4 million, because that number did include hedge funds, banks, market makers, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. But anyway, let's chop off the top 100,000 and let's say 4 million are retail investors. Well, from that moment, you can't just take this average and multiply it, because that's saying that 4 million people all have a $30,000+ investment in AMC. And to me, is it theoretically possible? Well, yeah, of course it is. But given what went on in the previous year in 2020, I think there's a little bit too much financial hardship for that to like truly be a reality, in my opinion. So I think that's when we come into the concept of you have to do really more of the Pareto principle, the bimodal distribution. I think people who went out of their way to vote, there's a good chance that it was more of like, hey, I really want to put it in because I own a lot of shares of AMC. So don't just multiply that average. It's a little bit too sophomoric of a methodology to approach it. Instead, you apply this to about 20% of the people, and the other 80% of the people probably have that average that Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, has already told us, around the 120 share mark. And my point in bringing this up is even when you're conservative like that and go out of your way to underestimate, it's as simple as this. The numbers do not add up. To me, this is one of the first times we've had statistically backed evidence of what we've been claiming for the past 6 months, this entire AMC saga of something is not adding up. And now we actually have some math that like points to that and agrees with the kind of allegation that we've already been putting out there. There's probably a very good chance that Adam Aron today is not going to address naked shorting or synthetic shares, just because that's the SEC, that's FINRA, that's the stock market. He's there to lead a company and make a company more successful. So I'm not going to hold my breath on any comments about it, but it would be interesting to see if this particular narrative storyline gains any traction. I explained the story on Fox News, so shout out to them for like letting us share this story of what's going on specifically as it relates to Timothy B's question. But it would be nice to get that even more out there, like just spread it, because like to me, this is a very important narrative, a very important storyline. The other thing that was coming up was people realized on August 6th, on Friday, that it was reported that Swiss National Bank owned 833,000 shares. Remember, that's when it was reported, but the effective date was June 30th. So the data was valid as of June 30th, and then we work on like a month delay, basically. They didn't buy all 833,000 shares, though, in the most recent quarter. Before that, right here, the quarter before that, they owned 195 and they jumped up to 833. So basically, they bought just over 600,000 shares in the last quarter, which was a 325% gain. So I just want, if you're hearing anything about Swiss National Bank buying AMC, yes, they bought AMC. They bought over 600,000 shares of it in the last fiscal quarter. So they're definitely bullish on it. Obviously, we know that there's some other hedge fund, I believe, based in London, OD or something like that, that announced that they're short on AMC. Overall, some of Wall Street itself, we're not against all of Wall Street. We're against a portion of Wall Street. Some of Wall Street's on our side, and they're actually looking for AMC to explode higher because that's how they're going to make a lot of money. Every single dollar that AMC moves, that impacts Swiss National Bank by 800,000. If it goes up $2, that's a gain of 1.6 million on the day, folks. And people like that, some are even bigger, such as BlackRock owning 30 million shares. Imagine that. Every single dollar moves. That's a swing of $30 million. So I'm just trying to illustrate the point that some of Wall Street is very much long on AMC, and they're betting on its upside potential, similar to the way that we are. In terms of the data points, across the board, we've been increasing all of last week heading into today. The short interest, 16.27%. Shares on loan, 106 million now, and utilization, 94.5%. Today, they've already borrowed $333,000 against it, and the short interest slightly higher. But like I said, these numbers have been trending upward, increases across the board. Short interest, shares on loan, utilization for AMC. The money betting against AMC, the aggressiveness of the bears is getting more and more blatant. Like they are definitely ratcheting these numbers up. The average duration of these shares on loan, 40 days. It dropped by 1.5 days, but that makes sense because we're seeing such a new increase in shares on loan. So when you have new ones, they're of age 0 or 1 day. So obviously that's going to bring the average down. So when you see a slight decline on it, well, it adds up because you have so many new shares on loan. So overall, that's kind of the quick rundown of what's going on with GameStop, DraftKings, the overall market, AMC, the vote, earnings cast tonight. Once again, 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be streaming it. So if you guys want to hang out and check that all out together, definitely feel free. It'll be interesting. Usually it lasts about an hour. That's roughly how long the last one was. But obviously that could change based on how in-depth they go on these questions because they will be taking probably the top how many ever questions. But overall, that's where we're standing at right now. As I'm saying this live, AMC's at 32.50, GME's at 151, DraftKings 53. We could poke our heads in on that throughout the day to see what's going on. The overall market, 442. Remember, this is the all-time high, basically 443. And then IWM, the Russell 2000, which AMC is a part of. Also, it sold off to start today off, but then it kind of made it back all the way to neutral. So that's quickly, I guess, the rundown on the day of how we're getting set up of what all is actually going to go on. Awesome. All right, where are we on this? Hang on, are these some tech issues? No, I think we're good. All right, let me go through your questions. Doing a bleep. Happy Monday, apes. Shout out. Why is this not loading? I can't see anything. Morning, Matt. Can you shout out my wife, Kate? She just started watching and doing her best to learn. Appreciate you, bud. Oh, brother. Utilization made a drastic increase and the CDP barely moved because you don't see a jump in CD cost to borrow until you're around 100%. It's all about the difficulty of something to borrow, and it becomes notably difficult around that 100% mark. That's when we've seen it spike previously, is when it was at 99, 100, not at 94. I'm ballsy. Message retracted. I like the mystery. I do like the mystery. Shout out. And let me just make sure. Here we go. Oh, and just so everyone knows, I mean, if you've been kind of paying attention to the insanity with, I guess, like we'll call it my luck on YouTube, I've been terminated twice. Fortunately, I did get my channel back. But if I really think about it, I don't know if it's necessarily YouTube who's out to kind of stop this, but obviously there's some sort of entity that's, I don't know, mass reporting accounts. It happened to me. I believe it happened to BitBoy Crypto. I know it happened to TMI, also a member of the AMC community. So for me, it's very important to just not have all my eggs in one basket of where I am, where I'm not, that type of a thing. So just so you guys know, I am working on redundancies. Over the weekend, I did get it working with a Rumble account. So I am on Rumble. I'm actually dual streaming right now between YouTube and Rumble. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. Because if one goes down, I'm obviously, I don't want to lose everything. It seems too risky to bet on one platform, especially when they can be attacked by bots or whatever was going on. I'm not really sure. And then obviously, we have the Twitch as well for, I guess, just various backups of like, or when I'm doing like more fun content that's not necessarily related exactly to the market. So we are working on various, I guess, redundancies and fail safes. I have the Matt Kohrs YouTube channel. Another backup is the Matt Kohrs clips. We also have Rumble and we also have Twitch. So right now we're rocking with 4 things. And with those 4 things, I do feel comfortable as of now, but let's see how it goes. But I'm excited to be, I guess, multi-streaming because it seems just way safer and way more realistic as a content creator, especially one who has multiple times being identified as harmful and dangerous, and you just lose everything. Trust me, that is an awful feeling. So overall, YouTube, Matt Kohrs. The backup YouTube channel is Matt Kohrs Clips. On Rumble, Matt Kohrs as well. I believe the username is Matt Kohrs as one word. And then on Twitch, it's Matt_Kohrs. So really, if you're just looking up Matt Kohrs, theoretically, you should be able to track me down. But I just wanted everyone to know that I'm on that. We're multi-streaming. We're kind of getting it figured out. But so far, so good. When shares are lent out to be shorted, is there a specific time they are lent? Meaning if the broker wants the shares back right away, does the short have to return them immediately? Yeah, so Gary, that's they can force a retraction of the shares. That's referred to as a buy-in. And generally, I've seen some brokerages that when they give you a buy-in order, you have till the end of the day. Other ones I've seen that you have an hour of like, they're just going to close your position on you. But they don't always have to force a buy-in. If the brokerage itself doesn't need the shares that they lent out to you, they'll just let you keep it as long as you're paying that cost to borrow fee. That's a great question, Gary. What do we have here? Shout out. Before we get really rocking today, everyone show a little bit of appreciation for the mods across the board. I strongly believe we have the strongest mods in the game, the most efficient, agile mods in the game. So let's drop some, I don't know, some apes, some diamonds, something in chat. Show a little bit of appreciation for how hard the mods really work. Matt, stash, don't a cat. Well, the say voting is done now. You can't vote currently. That ended at 5 p.m. last night. Oh. The one thing I wanted to bring to your attention is kind of what's a lot of people are talking about it. Hang on. And I get it. If you look pinned to the top of chat, public.com, pinned to the top of chat, if you follow the link, if you're trying to trade, make your future trades on something that not only avoids payment for order flow, but also sends all orders to a lit market, check out public.com/MattKords. It's pinned to the top of chat. You could get up to $70 of free stock. You kind of actually pick what you want of like, you get slices and it goes up. It's up to 70. A lot of people have been getting somewhere between $10 and $15. And then you apply that to whatever stock you want, whether it's Apple, Disney, there's like a whole host of options, but check it out. It's free trading, no payment for order flow, lit exchanges. It's for US residents. So if you're outside, unfortunately, this won't be an option for you. But another thing you need to know is public isn't for options trading either. But if you're just looking to buy stock, if you want to keep this as simple and basic as possible of, hey, I want to buy AMC, I want to buy GME, I just want shares, I don't want to actively trade, I don't want options, I don't want any of that fancy stuff. Public is an amazing option. You create an account, you're going to get some free money, it's free trading, no payment for order flow, no market makers. It's really a win-win for the community. That is pinned to the top of chat. Excited to be able to do that because I know some of the issues right here with Webull, people are starting to realize this is Webull, and I like it for charting just because of like visually, but I just want people to know that moving forward, my own share trades not going to really be executed through this. I've been working hard in the back end to try to find a non-payment for order flow options trading, and I think the only one that might really execute on that is Interactive Brokers, but I need to fact check that myself. That's just what I heard, and I need to reach out to them. But I just want you guys to know about public because that's a big thing. Because remember, we're not only battling for payment for order flow. There are some brokerages that do payment for order flow and then still route a majority of their orders to market makers, and that's inherently the big issue. Our issue is that Citadel Securities and Virtu are getting way too much trading. They're getting way too much data. They have an asymmetric information advantage above everyone in the market. And payment for order flow directly sends your orders to there, but then you have to be careful about the other brokers is that they're like, whoa, we don't do payment for order flow. And then you look into it and they still send most of their orders to them. So the name of the game is sending orders away from market makers. And I'm happy that public does that. A big question is like, well, if they don't do payment for order flow, how do they make their money then? They do have a tipping mechanism if that's something that you care about. That's part of how they like kind of keep the business alive. And the other aspect is they do share lending, but if you don't want your shares lent out, you can opt out of that program. I'm just trying to be very transparent and straightforward about the pros and cons of everything we discuss and everything we look at. So just if you decide to follow through with that, it is pinned to the top of chat, but I want you to know like what you are and aren't getting into. All right. Morning, apes. I love you all. Have the best week. Shout out Kinky Kong. Always putting a smile on my face. Happy you're in the house. Can't Adam Aaron see the share count of a specific individual? Wouldn't it be possible to see if he can confirm it if he checks out? No, Adam Aaron wouldn't be able to see that. Remember, when you're the leader of a company, that doesn't mean that you have the insight that the SEC and the FINRA does. Like his goal is to make AMC the best company he can. It's not like he has like special vision into the stock and what's going on more than we do. Like, obviously, if they're making deals and insider ownership, like, he'll know about those deals beforehand. But in terms of stock market plumbing, he would be in the dark as much as we are. Someone said that they can, let me double check this, that they can hear me. I guess so. Yeah, people end up here in the wrong one. And then, so right now, I don't know who it is or isn't having problems specifically on Rumble. Some people are saying they can hear me, but not seeing a video. I'm seeing it. It looks like it's coming through live. So maybe if you just want to do like a reload of the page, that might help. But I just want to make sure we're all looking strong on that. All right. Have you seen the calls between here and the 35, roughly 22K? So that would represent 2.2 million, which shares of AMC, which is good. But definitely remember back in June how we seen considerably more. How will we know it's you? What's the password? MLev, great question. You guys know the password. I saw there's a whole new host, I believe, of fake Twitter accounts out there. Please don't fall for it. I am Matt_Kohrs on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and then Matt Kohrs on YouTube, Matt Kohrs on Rumble. Don't fall for those fake accounts. Make sure it's spelled properly. I'm not DMing people. I'm not saying, hey, I have a great investment opportunity for you. That's not me. It sounds like a fake account. I mean, it doesn't even sound like me, the way that they're messaging people. So if you see those fake accounts, unfortunately, Twitter and Instagram are refusing to verify me. I don't know why. I guess they just only verify humans on that platform. So it's frustrating, but I am Matt_Kohrs. I'm not DMing you. Please, please be safe with that on those. I don't have a WhatsApp. I'm not asking you to Telegram me. I'm not doing any of that stuff. So please double check. If you think you're talking to me, go out of your way to make sure that you're talking to me. I don't want anyone sending money to some like random person. So please be careful. Happy birthday, Matt. Sending you Canadian Tim Hortons coffee from here in my igloo to wake you up in the morning. Thanks for all you do. Shout out, Dan. I appreciate that. Used to watch your videos every day before I lost. Good to see you're still growing and thriving. Sending positive vibes. Shout out. I'm sorry about your GME hit there, but I hope you can make it back elsewhere in the market. Morning, Matt. Can you shout out my wife? We did that. Utilization. All right, Tyler, great question about utilization. I use eToro to trade AMC, but I found out that I don't own shares. It's a promise of shares. Do you think platforms like eToro plus 500 selling fake shares make up these fake ghost shares? No. That's not how it is. It's because you don't own it, but the brokerage owns it. So the brokerage goes out and buys those shares, and then it's an IOU. So the brokerage ends up, the share promise you're referring to, people still own it, but it's just not you. It's your brokerage owns a large pool of shares when you're buying, and then when you're selling, they're going to sell off from that pool of shares. Even if I have shares, I can't vote because Swedish banks don't have partnership with say.com. Shout out Kinky Kong. There's a fake Matt_KHORS fake account friending me, FYI. Yeah, there's many. Just so you guys know, Kohrs is KOHRS. They do misspellings, or instead of an O, they'll do a 0. It's frustrating. So just double check that if you think I'm DMing you. And in all honesty, I'm not DMing people. I'm not asking anyone for money. All that stuff is just nuts. Please explain why a 40K buy order drops the price. 40K buy order. I don't think a 40K buy order would drop a price. Well, it depends. Are you doing it at market? Like, I would need more details, because remember, when you're buying $40,000 worth of a stock, someone is selling you $40,000 worth of that stock. For every buyer, there is a seller. For every seller, there is a buyer. So it's more of the price that they agree upon. How did you opt out of share lending with public? There's like this help text, like it says it's a call thing, but it's actually like kind of a text. It's more of an automated system that you could go through. It's actually really simple. If an FTD was at a price of 52 and the current price is at 32, whose profit loss on the difference in the price is settling FTD? Alan, there wouldn't be a profit or loss in that specific one. I assume you're referring to naked shorting. To cover a naked short FTD, the brokerage has to go out of its way and find those shares. So like the risk is on them, the onus is on them to locate those shares and say, okay, they're properly accounted for whoever actually shorted them. So it's more of not necessarily buying or selling for naked shorting. It's locating those shares and properly attributing those shares to who actually went short. Did you get the Duck Dodgers space duck to the moon WP83? I most certainly did. It's sitting right over on my desk. Actually, that video, the unboxing video, should be posted not only to Rumble but to the Kohrs Clips channel. Yeah, we did. Thank you so much. We're actually getting a whole host of really cool figurines. I appreciate it. Oh, so for anyone who missed out on that, we usually do unboxings on Sunday night. If you want to be a part of that, the PO address is in the description of the video, just so everyone knows. You could see the PO address. You could send whatever you want there, and then we'll do a live unboxing with any of that. Did my first options trade last week. Nothing crazy and far out, but I want to thank you in the Ape community for giving me confidence to do it. Shout out, James. If there is a quieter point of the day today, we're going to break open Tiblio and we'll see if there's any other opportunities to make money, if there's any good credit spreads to sell, or if there's any big money being bet on things. I don't know. Let's see how DraftKings reacts today. Definitely worthwhile things to pay attention to. So maybe after the market opens up, we could see how that all really plays out. No shit, Sherlock. Thanks for that. All right. What happens with a stock recall? A stock recall. It depends specifically on the recall you're thinking of. I would say that the most common type of a recall is referred to as a buy-in. And that's when someone is short and the broker says, hey, we need those shares back. And they force you to cover that position. Like I said, depending on the brokerage, some of them give you to the end of the day. I've known of other ones that only give you an hour and then you have to cover your short. So that is the most common type of stock recall. But if that's not the recall you're referring to, I would need a little bit more info. What is your philosophical stance on life? My philosophical stance on life is we're here for a fun time, not a long time. So make the best of it. Hey, Matt, Subaru's still strong. Shout out. As is my will to hodl my 2K GME shares and 4.5K AMC shares to the moon. You doing a great job. Don't give up. Shout out. Hey, I'm going to keep going as long as your Subaru's going. So basically endlessly. Someone is asking public. It is US only. Hopefully one of these days they are spreading internationally. I was just working as hard as I could in the background to get you guys something that I could verify is not payment for order flow and also could verify is not going to the market makers. Because as we were looking into it, we very much quickly found out that payment for order flow, non-payment for order flow brokerages, some of them are still routing most of their orders to market makers. So I needed to check both of those things. Because I just never knew that they would do non-payment for order flow, but still send a majority of their orders straight to market makers, which was something I was like obviously trying to avoid. Mr. Boulet, shout out, shout out. Is the stream lagging? Morning, Matt. By the way, let's have a great day. Can anyone confirm? Hang on, market's about to open. Let's drop to the 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. Kind of want to see what DKNG is going to do out of the gate right here. They did acquire GNOG, Golden Nugget Online Gaming. So let's see how that actually pans out. Get ready, folks. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. All right. We're as ready as we're going to be. It is AMC earnings day. No lag. I appreciate that. Let's get ready. Less than a minute, seconds left. Let's do this. All right. All right. Dingity ding ding ding. The casino is open. Oh, open it is. AMC out of the gate, 33. I like it. I like it. I like it. GME, 152. Not really trading much. Low volume, very low volume on GME. Ding, ding, ding. The casino's open, team. The casino is open. Remember, especially if you're just joining in, I very, very much like waiting those first 15, 20, 30 minutes just to see how things are shaking out, especially on a Monday, just because it's the weekend. People are reacting to the news, especially today. People are going to be positioning themselves for the earnings announcement. AMC, I'm kind of expecting a strange day. I don't know up or down, but I'm expecting a bit of a unique day just because not only a lot of retail, but also a lot of institutions, banks, hedge funds, market makers trying to position themselves for the earnings call tonight because you never know what is or isn't going to be said coming out of that. So I'm interested. I think it's going to be a strange day. So I'm very excited for it. Excited to see how this all plays out. Man, GME volume very low. Only 40,000. GME volume kind of non-existent. Interesting. IWM getting hit the first 2 minutes, but AMC holding strong. AMC is actually in the green, rejected just below 33, but looks like it's kind of running up to that now. So let's calm, cool, collected. Let's see how this all really pans out. I want to sit back, relax, enjoy the opening. Bitcoin is at 40, just below 46,000. Doge is at 26 cents. Ethereum 3,142. So crypto doing very well over the past week. Actually, past 2 weeks, crypto just seems to be waking up. Low volume due to rerouting on dark pools. Jay, that actually wouldn't have an impact. Volume on a dark pool is still reported. So when you see the volume, daily volume, that includes market makers, lit exchanges, and dark pools. Basically, it includes all on exchange and all off exchange trading. So you're still going to see that volume. It's reported. Some people are under the misconception that it's somehow delayed in its reporting by a day. But we had that interview with Dave Lauer, and he kind of verified and also showed that everything is essentially reported instantaneously, but they do have up to 10 seconds to report it. But still, that's a 10-second delay then. Nothing is I think if you still have questions about payment for order flow or dark pools, I would highly, highly recommend watching the most recent interview with Dave Lauer because we just dove into all of those questions up front. Feels like a magnet and rocket kind of day. Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. I guess once we get opening and things settle after that first little jolt, I'll happily do that. Happily throw up some rockets. Happily throw up some magnets. Matt, important question. What is stock AMC 0924? 0924. I'm not too sure about that one. Not too sure about that. Hang on one second. Can I fix this over here? Done. Oh, sweet. Shout out. All right. AMC 3255. Where's the red-green movement on this today? 3270. All right, this is the red-green line. IWM kind of getting hit out of the gate. DraftKings actually getting hit out of the gate. I guess people not really the biggest fans of the acquisition. Ooh, SPY getting hit as well. It was about 20 cents off, 15 cents off of making a new all-time high. Now we have indices being sold off, the Russell 2000 and the S&P 500. GME not doing a whole heck of a lot, but it is green on the day. AMC just went green once again on the day. While we enjoy the open, good to point out to buy in Ethereum, 2.5K, been too hot lately, trying not to lose. Good point to buy. Yeah, so Ethereum is hot right now. I would wait for more of like the RSI to get closer to like more of a oversold type of a thing. But I'm in Ethereum. I've been in Ethereum, and I kind of like, I think Ethereum is a great long-term hold. Maybe I completely misunderstand what it is and isn't doing, but I am very bullish on Ethereum 1-2 decades down the line. It might be a bit chasey now, but I think of it this way: whether you're getting it at 2K or 3K, well, I mean, it sucks and you can buy more. And of course, you should always buy on weakness, buy at support. But if you're just trying to buy one and have some fun with it and see how that goes, I mean, if you save yourself $500 now or don't, I mean, that's not going to be the make or break it thing long down the road. Like I said, I'm not actively trading it. I'm just kind of sitting on it. So for me, if I'm off by a couple $100 here or there, it's not going to make a big difference when I plan on locking in my massive profits years down the road. Do you think today might be low trading because of earnings announcement? I think it's going to be one or the other. I think it's going to be notably low or notably high. I don't think it's going to be in between. Either a lot of people are going to be trading, jockeying for position, especially in today's power hour, or everyone's going to be like, hang on, let's just wait and see what's said on the earnings, and then we'll trade tomorrow. So I don't think it's going to be in between, either low volume or high volume. And that's obviously for AMC here. GME, it already just looks like it's going to be a super low volume day. AMC, looking hot, hot, hot. All right, so 33.50 is kind of a notable level. Actually, let me show you this really quick. And what I think is going to be interesting is 36 flat. So let's get above 33.50 because that's exactly where we've been battling it now for 3 days in a row. I want to get above 33.50. Next stop, 36. So let me mark those numbers out for everyone because right now we are looking pretty good. I would love to see a push up to 36. Looking strong. And right now where we're at, 33.50, we've seen this for 3 trading days in a row where it's gotten kind of rejected here. So I'd love to overtake this and hold above it. And right there, boom goes the dynamite, 33.88, 33.90. We're pushing 34. We're seeing some strength, folks. Some strength. I like it. IWM also bouncing. S&P 500 trying to bounce. But let's see how this actually goes. AMC at 34, 34.10, pushing. Boom goes the dynamite. Right, we're looking good. All right, let me just double check some of this stuff. Don't need that. Any breaking news on Twitter? Hey, we're only 7 minutes into the day. Remember, calm, cool, collected. All right. Nothing crazy right now. Nothing crazy. I just want to make sure that the Rumble chat is getting properly routed. Boom booze, Rumble lit. Smash that Rumble button. Hey, shout out to everyone on Rumble. I appreciate that. It's always exciting for me to start something like new like that, see how it's going out, figure it out. I always have fun. I feel like honestly that maybe that's why I'm even a little bit more energetic today. If you haven't already, wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, I would highly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. That does help out with the algorithms and it serves this video to more people. Hence, we grow the Ape Nation community even more as more people see the video. We're just trying to spread the story. That's the name of the game, folks. The more people that know what's going on and that we're not just, I guess, these crazy people in our basement shouting about market manipulation. No, it's way more evolved past that. We have some data, we have some evidence, we have some very high level due diligence. And I think for us, that's how we win this, is we spread the story to as many people as who are willing to listen to it. So anyone who goes out of their way to like and subscribe on whatever platform, I appreciate it because it just gets it to more people. And that stuff is completely free. I'm in no way asking for money off of it. Do you think trading low because of earnings now? All right, we did that. Shout out Big Shop. Shout out Justin. Shout out. AMC looking good today. Makes you smile. In fact, hang on. Let's help out with AMC. Let's work on our 6-packs. Let's stand up, folks. Let's stand up. So only way to build a 6-pack these days is just as you're streaming the market live, you just got to stand up. Everyone, Let's burn those calories. Hey, if we're going to be completely rich from the paradigm change in wealth in the US because of the stock market, obviously you want the vehicle for that money. So we got to all work on our six packs. Everyone's like, oh, you got to diet, you got to run and exercise. No. I just assume if you stand for like an hour a day, that's all you need to do. You'll be in Olympic shape within like 3 weeks or something. I don't know. I don't make up the rules. Hang on. The other rules I don't make up are your fuel, folks. The fuel is what you need. Dude, I exercise every day getting ready for this. Everyone's like, what? I like when you have all these people that they always have cool stories of like finally the switch that flipped in their brain that they're like, I gotta work out, like this is it. Whether it's health issues or a child or just something happens, like you're not happy with it and you're like, I need to take life by the horns and like really figure this out. I just want hundreds of thousands of people to be like, I need to become fit because I'm gonna be rich and I want to enjoy it with a fit body. Just like I want like just comically shallow explanations. It's nothing about your health or feeling better or for your kids or your family. You're like, no, I'm going to get rich and I want a body that represents that. Hey, it doesn't matter if you have a good reason or a shallow reason. Getting into shape is getting into shape. Philip, you just said you're lagging so hard this is out. I don't think it's really lagging for anyone else. So maybe just do a quick reload or maybe lower. I don't know. But I don't think it's lagging for many people. Let me know if I mess something up in my own settings. Is Ken ripped? No. And that's exactly what you need to know. Shout out. Yeah, so if you are having problems, just do a quick reload, just a quick Command R, Control R, whatever it is. That's maybe that's what I'll end up using Twitch for, is like, we'll live stream workouts together. For real though, and like I don't mean this facetiously or sarcastically, I've never been a person who's into yoga. Like I just never got into it. Like I think I have a very common like, oh, like you just started lifting and then all of a sudden you lift more and you get tight and everything's. And over the past couple months, I've been reading books and watching some documentaries on people who had bad problems. Like I had a lot of injuries playing sports growing up, and I think they're finally catching up to me, especially because I was sitting for so long. And so I'm like, oh, like what's something I can fix this with? Like, and everything I come back to when I search, it comes back to yoga. So I almost feel like I never like spoke illy of yoga, but I don't think I gave it because I was like, oh, like, well, what's going to go on? But now it seems like if anything, I should almost do that mainly. Like I'm hearing so many good things of like, hey man, I did yoga for like 1 hour a day for 3 months, and people are saying that it's completely life-changing. So I'm not a yogi bear by any means, but I kind of want to become one because I think like everything is too tight. Like my muscles sitting this long cannot be good for you. And I think the way to really counteract it is to get like super into yoga. So maybe that's what we'll do on Twitch, is just we'll do a live yoga class. Here, we'll do duck yoga. Goggins stretches 2 hours a day. Honestly, that's one of the people I found out about was David Goggins, who, if you haven't heard of him, he's this like hardcore, like mental discipline person, like a very inspiring story, but a guy who kind of grew up in very rough circumstances, not happy with his life. And out of nowhere, one day a switch went on his head and he, I think, ran 100 miles. Like he just randomly ran 100 miles. He ran 100 miles before he ever ran like a singular marathon, which I just think is insane. He did it on a track, which is like 400 laps on a track. absolutely inspiring, and the dude was not in shape for it, and it just shows a lot of like what you could do with your own mental discipline. But anyway, before I go like off on too much of a tangent here, yeah, he was saying that now to keep his body where it needs, because he does all these extreme physical challenges, he stretches like 2 hours a day, and the biggest thing he focuses on are like his legs and his hips, just because like right now, I guess society, like we are in a situation where we just sit too much. We're too sedentary. Like you got to stand, you got to move, you got to get out there. And I think whether it's purely for your physical health, I'm a strong proponent of, even if you don't necessarily care about your physical health, I love its benefits to your mental health when you're doing things physically that you should. And honestly, I'm not coming at you as like, oh, you got to work out, I've been doing this. No, I'm saying over the past 6 months, over really ever since the pandemic started, for myself personally, I let it all go to the wayside. And I don't hate myself for it, but I hate myself for it type of a deal. And I think that's important. Like I used to be active, I used to do things, and you're looking at a guy who now over the past year and a half has done nothing. And like you come up with excuses. And my excuses was this. I was like, hey, I work hard, I'm on YouTube, the world shut down, I can't go to a gym anyway. And that's simple. And like on the outside, anyone out there, they're like, oh, no, that makes sense. You are working hard. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. But like, secretly, like your own conscious in your head, you're like, no, I probably could have done something. So I'm not coming at it as like, oh, you guys got to join me, and like, oh, health is wealth, folks, like got to do it. I'm saying I'm probably sitting right there with a lot of you of like, no, I kind of wish I was doing more. I don't work out as much as I should. I try to do stuff. The other day, I let the internet bully me into running a 10K, which I thought was fun. So if that's what it takes, if it just takes the internet bullying me into getting into shape, hey, I like the end result. But I just feel like I need to do something with my life, because in terms of a physical thing, because I think both, obviously if you're working out, obviously there's physical benefits, but I think the understated thing is the mental benefits. I will not be giving up Cheez-Its. I will not be giving up sangria. I'm not going to be one of these people, but like, oh, like a big thing to that is diet. You got to eat clean. Okay, I'm going to be on board with you for a lot of this, but definitely not to the extent where I'm giving up Cheez-Its or sangria. That is something that's not going to happen in my life. I'll do the other things. I'll work out, I'll stretch, I'll meditate, but you got to draw the line somewhere. And my line is at Cheez-Its and sangria. Not going to happen ever. It's just a part of who I am. Sangrias. All right. So right now, AMC green on the day, it's at 33. GME at 153. IWM, it went down, then made a new low. It looks like the Russell 2000 is kind of dragging AMC with it. We're seeing a little bit of weakness in IWM and S&P 500 bending over perhaps a little bit right here. What do we have? Robinhood at 59. And then we have NVIDIA at 203, Microsoft 289, Penn National at 71. It kind of makes that Penn National is down, just stronger competitions from DraftKings. Virgin Galactic, remember that breakout levels at 34. I did have puts on it. I no longer have a position on Virgin Galactic. Got too beat up. Remember, I still own puts on Robinhood, but I already locked in 100% gain on half my position, so it's a riskless trade for me. The worst case scenario on Robinhood right now is a break-even trade. What else do we have? That's about it. Oh, Tesla's up. Tesla's up $16 up to $715. Interesting. Coming back to that $700 mark. Well, it was below it and then it recaptured it and it's pushing. We know 715, 718 is resistance. So TSLA currently at resistance. NASDAQ, the Qs flat on the day. What is going on, folks? Did I do this right? Am I missing? I don't want to be. Oh, it looks like I am missing. As someone who went from 250 to 190 pounds, discipline is the biggest thing. Stray from the path and give yourself excuse in the futures. Tough mutters are awesome. So I think that's what I need to do is just commit to doing some sort of weird event, such as a Tough Mudder or an Ironman or like a Spartan run. I feel like if I just commit and sign up for an event, like the way my own psychology is, I'll start doing it. Odd lots can trade ultimately hit the tape but not impact the price in real time internationally or not due to permitted lag to fully close odd lots. If so, why can't this be done used? No, Joshua, I don't really subscribe to this notion of odd lots. Remember, whether you buy an odd lot or not, it's still essentially going to be reported and have a material impact on the price instantaneously and definitely within 10 seconds. Would love to hear your rant about Rich Greenfield's latest appearance on Squawk Box this AM, trashing AMC, saying there's no longer any short interest. Pat, I didn't listen to it, so I'll listen to that midday during the break, and then when we come back for the afternoon stream, I'll be able to comment on it. Let me write that down so I don't forget about it. I didn't know that Rich Greenfield was... I mean, that's what he likes to do, though. He likes to talk crap on AMC. So let me write that down for the afternoon session. Here we go. Rich Greenfield. Do you think Rich Greenfield would ever come on my show? That would be kind of interesting to see if he'd be like willing to talk to us. Because I think a lot of these times when you're on mainstream media, you get a really small segment. And if I did it, I would obviously have to turn off comments because you guys would be probably pretty vicious. But I think it could kind of be an insightful conversation of people who have very obviously disagreeing opinions, or even like Jim Cramer, or even that guy from Motley Fool, Sean Williams. I think it would be interesting to bring someone on who is like on the polar opposite end of this particular trade, just to see if we could argue with each other, just to see how much we could really get into it. Can you please remind everyone to contact their congressman and press them about 4618, 4619, 4620, enforcing transparency for retail, XXX, you legend, shout out Miles. And remember right now, so I think it's 4617, 1819, is it 20? There's a group of really 3 to 5 different bills that are being heard. They did pass the House committee, the financial committee, whatever that one is. So now it's at the U.S. House. From there, it needs to pass that. Then it needs to go to the Senate. And then from there, it needs to go to the president. So it is a long process. Obviously, it's a long process, but it's better than nothing. We are seeing some sort of progression in general, like we're slowly but surely making progress, and they relate to various things. The one is about reporting your short positions in the 13F filings and also increasing the cadence from quarterly to monthly. The other one is looking into payment for order flow, its efficacy, its pros, its cons, and maybe its conflicts of interest. And then the other one relates to market makers and holding them legally culpable if they or an employee of theirs basically uses their information to front run their own clients and make money off of it. So bills that all on the surface level very much seem to be for the retail public and in favor of us. So I'm happy that they passed the first leg and now they're being heard by the House, the U.S. House. So excited to see how that really plays out. But yeah, call your congressman, let them know that we are in support of it. So on the verified share account site, it shows that I have 50, but I have 67. That's with my Robinhood account, and registered with the numbers are wrong. Scott, so remember, it can only register once. I don't know when you bought it, but they have to be gone through the T2 settlement cycle. So if you bought them within the 2 trading days of registering it, those wouldn't theoretically have hit in your account. I don't know when you did or didn't, but I'm saying maybe that's one potential explanation. Matt, keep snacking because being fat is better for your girlfriend. You'll give more warmth in the winter and more shade in the summer. Interview them after the squeeze so we can laugh. Yeah, that'd probably be the time to do it. Is like after the squeeze, bring them all on. Would love to hear. All right, we did that. I'd be glad fitness expert for apes. Bring me on for an interview. I'd glad to do a free webinar. Shout out In Shape Fitness. Check out Yoga with Adriana. She's an awesome YouTuber with over 10 million followers. Great for beginners and beyond. Maybe I'll have to do that in like my midday break, is just get some yoga in. Serious question. Did you check your oil? That's a great question. I actually did not. I was like, you know what? There's no point in checking the oil if you own a Corolla, because nothing could ever stop a Corolla. Like, some of the time, I question if Corollas even need gas. Corollas are tanks, and nothing stops a Corolla. It doesn't have to be any fluids, oil, gasoline. Corollas just go. And the fact that I have a Corolla tells me that like I don't really need to do anything, because it's just gonna work. The default setting of any Corolla in this world is it's gonna keep going. I don't even know when people are like, oh, like what's the mileage on it? Like that's a very valid question for other vehicles, but for a Corolla, why does it matter? Because you know it's gonna go for a couple million more. It doesn't matter the number you're at. So for a Corolla, nah, it just works. That's how Corollas do it. I'm fat, dumb, and love it. Shout out, Gary. I tried P90X yoga, almost died. I didn't even know that they put those together. Is that legal? I lift weights 5 days a week and do yoga on my 2 rest days. It's not only a change for your body, but also drastically reduce your stress and anxiety. Matt Kohrs is totally real. 10K run. Sounds like something I need. GME on the move up to 158. AMC bending back around. It's above 33. We want it to hold above 33.50 on considerable volume, and we would love to break it above 30 to 6. Those are the levels I'm paying attention to. If you don't ask for anything financial, who did I just loan all of my tulips to? Help. Finger crossed for a great week. Shout out, Ted. Hey, Matt, getting into shape is cool and all, but do you know what's cooler? Checking your oil. If it comes to a Corolla, I mean, you heard my thoughts on it. Never going to do it. I firmly believe that once I'm a millionaire, it'll suddenly become less acceptable for me to jiggle when I brush my teeth. So that's my fitness drive. Jiggle when you brush your teeth. That is so mean to yourself. Matt's mom forced me to send this. Shout out, Mighty Mung. All right. Jiggle when you brush your teeth. We're all being mean to ourselves today, I suppose. All right. Let's drop to the 3-minute, and then we could zoom in just so it's a little bit easier for everyone to see. A little bit easier. There we go. S&P 500, I guess not looking to make a new all-time high today. Remember with the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000, something going on politically that will have a big impact on it is the infrastructure deal. I'm not here coming to you saying that I'm some sort of political expert or guru or anything like that. I'm just here to shout out the certain political happenings that could have an impact on the overall market. And one of those right now is the infrastructure deal. So you might want to pay attention to that. I'm not saying anything left or right. I'm just saying pay attention to it, because depending on what you are invested in, it might have an impact on your own wealth. Oil is fun. Not a hedge fund shout out. My parents came up this weekend and my dad was kind enough to inform me that our riding mower is low on oil. True story. Do you have any cool or not cool family stories from the weekend? On a serious note, I hope you had a good time with the fam. I had a great time. It was the first time I got to see my family in a bit. It was awesome. It was a blast. A lot of people came over. We basically had like a seafood bake grill thing. It was a blast. We had a campfire. I need to think of the best way to recount some of these stories. There were definitely some stories, but for privacy's sakes, I guess I need to think of a way to change the names and change some parts of the story while still giving you guys the full feeling of the overall story. I'll have to think about that for the afternoon stream because there were some funny happenings. Would you be interested in an interview with Houston Wade? He has a channel called Houston, We Have a Problem, Great AMC GME Markets Insights. Yeah, actually, I'm very familiar with Houston Wade. I've watched a decent amount of his content, and I think he's a great creator. Would love to talk to him. Been driving my Focus around for 5 years, 30K plus mileage and no oil change. Built for tough. Shout out, Dan. I understand orders on dark pools are reported, but won't 1 million shares purchased on dark pools move price a lot less than on lit exchanges? Not necessarily, Dennis. It all depends on the other players in the dark pool on that time. If you're trying to buy 1 million in that dark pool, that exact dark pool at the exact same time, if there's someone else willing to sell 1 million at that price, it's not really going to move it much. But you don't know, because that's the point of a dark pool, is that you don't see the other actors within the dark pool at the time that you're in it. And like, buying 1 million on a dark pool could really swing the price up, or selling 1 million could really swing the price down. It depends on who else is in the dark pool at that time and if you're going to agree on the same price. So there's not a general blanket answer to that. Oil is fun. All right, let's do a quick Ortex check. All right, let me exit out this just so you know. So Swiss National Bank in the last fiscal quarter, they did buy over 600,000 shares of AMC, just so everyone knows. Thus far in AMC today, there's been a net return of 392,000. Short interest is still above 16% at 16.2. In terms of GameStop, net neutral, short interest is 12.6%. Let me just double check that. Let me just quickly refresh the page. 12.58. All right, 12.6. Any breaking news on Benzinga? Benzinga, usually I have that pinned to the top of chat, but right now it's in the description. If you want a free Benzinga trial, it's in the description of the video. They have various products. You can see what's cool. I like it for the news aggregator. I like it for the unusual options. I find some utility in that type of stuff. All right, what kind of news do we have today? Oh, this is the Rich Greenfield. The recent price action in AMC is showing that retail investors are selling the stock. Lightshed Partners analyst Rich Greenfield said Monday on CNBC's Squawk Box. The reality is that the short interest has really dried up. That's crazy things now. You've got a lot of retail shareholders trying to convince other retail shareholders to buy the stock while they're clearly dumping the stock. This is something that you don't have to take his word for. This is something you don't have to take my word for. We have the facts. We have the information. He's saying that the short interest dried up. Well, let me show you the actual short interest. Let's look at the short interest on the year. To me, this is not the short interest drying up. We are at 16.27%. How right here, like, a lot of these things, you don't have to take a person's individual commentary for it. You can back check it, look at the data. That's why I always say, know your data, know what you're looking at. We are not far away from literally on the year to date, having some of the highest short interest we've had. So this concept of the short interest has dried up is literally verifiably false. You don't have to just take my word for it. I'm showing you the data right here. The highest we've been at is still right below 20. We hit 19.6 on April 27th. But even then, when we hit it, not much action was going on. In this insanity, when the stock was running from 14 all the way up to 70, we were at a short interest of 17.4. 17.4. And right now we're at 16.2. So this concept that to say it's dried up, that's not an opinion. It's a statement that's factually wrong. It's equivalent to saying the sun is cold or anything like that, or I don't know, like whatever you want. Like, it's not an opinion. This statement right here, the reality is that the short interest has really dried up. No, I don't even know how to retort it, because like I feel like I'm just arguing with someone that's saying the sun is cold. It's like, well, no, it's hot, and we have proof that it's hot. This isn't an opinionated thing. We have the data. This is reported data. Look at the shares on loan. The shares on loan. We're at 106 million. In this insanity, it was around 139. Is it lower? Yeah, I'm not saying that it's lower, but like to say it's really dried up to the point that it's non-existent, it's factually inaccurate. That's not an opinion thing. That's not attacking. Like, it's just some random person apparently getting a spot on Squawk Box and just no one's fact checking him. They're like, where is he getting this information? The crazy thing is now that you've got a lot of retail shareholders trying to convince other retail shareholders to buy the stock. I just showed you that Swiss National Bank bought 600,000 shares. So this rhetoric of the short interest drying up, and it's only retail buying trying to do something. Well, we're seeing through the 13Fs that in the last quarter, in the last 3 months, people are buying it. Like actual institutions, banks, market makers. We see it in the 13Fs. So it's just, it's so silly that like they're giving him a spot to speak when what he's saying you can disprove easily. And that's just through the data that we have as retail. So anyone within the Wall Street, I guess, sector would easily, they even have better data and would be able to disprove it even more quickly. But the fact that we can disprove it within seconds of reading it through just sources like, nope, that's wrong. We have these data. We have the 13F filings. Like, no, he is speaking out of his ass and he's wrong. It's that simple. It's not an opinion. We're debating fact and he is wrong on his facts. It's literally that simple. If anything, so he's saying that it's really dried up. The shares on loan from June 10th until now have clearly been trending upwards. We've gone from 78 million, let's call it 80 million, up to 106. So for the ease of math, let's say it's gone from 80 to 100, up 20 million. That's an increase of the shares on loan from early to mid-June until now of 25%. How are you saying it's dried up when the shares on loan have increased by 25%? And we know other institutions are buying. Like, it's just wrong. Like, I don't know what else. Like, I'll show you the data. Maybe I'm interpreting the data incorrectly, but the way I'm interpreting the data that is in front of us is those statements made by Rich Greenfield this morning. And Rich, if you're listening right now, you know it's wrong, man. You like what data? Like, if you're going to say something like that, and maybe I'm misinterpreting something, you better be able to back it up because all the evidence, the verifiable evidence, is pointing to the contrary. So like maybe we're wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it differently and maybe I don't understand that when something's going up on a chart, that means that it's trending upward. Maybe I missed that day in third grade math. I don't know. I was sick a lot in third grade. I didn't like going to school. So maybe I missed that day. Maybe I missed that day in high school math. Maybe I missed that day when I was getting a computer science degree. Maybe I missed that day when I was taking master's statistics courses. I don't know, Rich. Maybe you know more than I do, but you have to have the evidence. It's that simple. Like, that's all it is. Greenfield's wife probably tells him neato a lot. I can imagine your interview with him already. No matter what he says, your response is, first of all, you're a dick. Daisy, what's going on? Hey, Matt, I teach people how to eat Cheez-Its and still be healthy. Bring me on for an interview. Love to help educate the apes. Send a Twitter message. Shout out. We'll check that out. All right. AMC right here at 33.50, obviously still very important. We're seeing that it got over it this morning, got pushed below it. We just got rejected. 33.50 right now for the bears is the line in the sand because after that, I think there'd be a strong movement up to 36. So right now, the name of the game intraday today is to watch 33.50. 2 rejections there thus far. Let me get a trend line for you folks. Hang on. Let's make this a different one. So we all know it's a trend line and not a horizontal line. But we're looking for this north break upward. Wherefore, smash the like, apes. What does utilization show us? It seems like AMC is super high. 4-share recall on the horizon. A 4-share recall isn't guaranteed at 100%. So what utilization is, it's a ratio of X divided by Y. X is the amount of shares on loan. Y is the amount of total shares that could go on loan. Both of those numbers, X divided by Y, when you get it, you get a percentage. The max percentage is 100%, but please understand that it is dynamic. There could be one day where 100 million shares are willing to go on loan and 90 million are on loan. So the ratio would be 90%, 90 divided by 100. But the very next day, the on loan could go up to 100 but more people might be willing to lend theirs out. So it could be 100 divided by 110. And now it's a little bit less than 90%, or actually a little bit higher than 90%. So my point there is it's shares on loan divided by the total loanable shares. But please understand, both of those numbers are dynamic and they honestly change from minute to minute because more and less people are willing to go loan, more and less people are willing to loan out their shares. But that's what it gives you. And when you get close to that 99, 100% mark, that's where it's considered to be very extremely difficult to loan out that stock. And that's naturally where you see a considerable spike in the cost to borrow fee. So that's how I would personally interpret it. Non-essential bartender, Rich Greenfield, secret account here. Toyotas and ducks are both lame. Is the dark pool confusion coming from the uncertainty of the bid-ask spread, selling the bid on a lit and buying any available ask on a dark pool equals no moon? No, the confusion is someone put it out there that trading on a dark pool has no impact on the price, which is wrong. They were somehow pushing the narrative that if you buy on a dark pool, it has no impact, and then you could sell on a lit exchange, and that drives the price down. That's not how it works. Logically, stock market plumbing, it doesn't make sense. And also, it's just verified. There's no evidence of it. Someone put it out there because it sounds cool. It sounds like a cool story. I mean, it sounds like it plays perfectly into the nefarious naming thing of a dark pool. But it's just wrong for various reasons. And then it's been confirmed by stock market experts that like, there's no way that's how a dark pool works. It just is, it's kind of misunderstanding the basic axioms of supply and demand. It's literally violating the axiom of supply and demand. Overall, what you need to know about a dark pool is, yes, it impacts the price. Why it differs from a lit exchange is that it doesn't show you the depth of the bid over here, and it doesn't show you the depth of the ask. You can't see where the buyers are sitting, and you can't see where the sellers are sitting in a dark pool. That's why it's called a dark pool, is because we don't have the vision on it. All you can see is the price that it's currently trading at. So you only basically see 33.76, and the bid, like, you're not seeing where all the buy orders are sitting. You're not seeing where all the sell orders are sitting. What I'm showing you right here, this is the level 2 for the New York Stock Exchange, one of the 14 lit markets. Remember, for dark pools, there's about 40 major dark pools. There are more, but there's about 40 major ones. And the difference is you just don't see the level 2. It's trading at the exact same price on any venue. And remember, there's 3 major types of venues: lit exchanges, dark pools, and then the other one is OTC, and that's basically market makers. And that's where payment for order flow and that type of stuff comes in. And please don't misunderstand. On various forms of social media, you're going to be seeing that 60, 70, 80% of trading is done in dark pools. That's actually wrong. 60, 70, 80% of trading is done off exchange. And that's a very important distinction, because off exchange is, yes, that does include dark pools. That's fair. But the other thing is market makers, these OTC internalizers. And in that 60, 70, 80% chunk that's happening off exchange, like I said, a good portion of it is happening in dark pools, but a majority of it is happening at market makers. If you don't want to just trust my word for it, if you're like, hey man, I don't like you because you're not confirming my bias, and I read this on Twitter and I think it sounds cooler that a lot of it's happening on dark pools, that's okay. Like, you don't have to just take my word for it, but I do have the evidence of what I'm saying. If you just go to OTC transparency, you could see it right here. If you go to otctransparency.finra.org, you can do the breakdown. Look at the ATS. ATS is alternative trading system. That's a very fancy way to say dark pool. You can see the amount of dark pool trades in the month of June for AMC. And then if you want to see the amount of OTC, aka market makers, payment for order flow, all that good stuff, you come to over here, and then you could see it for the exact same month. And you'll see that there's over 2.6 billion trades of AMC, or actually shares exchange, on the market makers. And then there's about 150 million. So it's 2.5 billion versus 150 million, roughly. I'm rounding some numbers. So a high majority is being done on market makers. And that's the problem of the overall market right now, is market makers, the duopoly of Citadel Securities and Virtu, are running the entire show. So this concept of like so much going on in a dark pool, if you don't want to take my word for it, because like I'm hurting your feelings and I'm not like confirming to the bias you want people on social media to be saying, that's fine. But I'm just imploring you, do some of the research here. Like, you can look at this data and see if you come up with the same takeaway as I do. But check it out. ATS, Alternative Trading System, that's the dark pools. Right here, OTC, that's going to be the market makers. And both of these are off exchange trading, where a high majority of all trading is done. And that inherently alone is also bad. Like, they're just less regulated. And I don't think it's that good when so much trading is done in a less regulated environment. Just coming on, did you see BZ Newswire at 9:20? The reality is the short interest has really dried up. Says we are clearly dumping the stock. Oh, brother. Yeah, Dale, I already actually had an early morning rant about that one. So I covered it. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, just feel free to rewind a little bit. But it's just verifiably wrong. You could have Rich on for his 2 cents, but you would only end up with a penny for his thoughts. Boom. Shout out, Justin. Shout out. How do I check this out? What do we have? Any mega caps tending rotating? Shout out. Only Way Up, Holistics, Wolfram Heart. Shout out. Seems like a fun little community going on here in Rumble. Like it. I like it. I like it. I just want to make sure. What is this? Open performance window. Ooh, I'm using 37% of my CPU. Man, folks, Macs are good for a lot of things, but they are not good for streaming. I very much need to figure something out. I feel a wrinkle forming. Thank you. Shout out, Kevin. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to just make people feel a little bit more comfortable in their knowledge of the stock market and like what is or isn't going on, so you can have a healthy, thought out discussion with other people. Because right now there's a lot of people saying things that are just not wrong, or not wrong. Some people saying things not right. There's just a lot of information out there. But anyway, during that second rant of the day, AMC did break above 33.50. The more we stay above this, the better. Like I'm saying, I think if we hold above this, there's a shot of us seeing 36 relatively quickly. Mac Infidel. I ordered a PC, but right now there's a severe shortage of getting GPUs. So that is problematic. I've just been waiting. I think it's like a 4 to 6 week delivery. I ordered it a while ago. I'm just waiting. Drink break. But yeah, anyone out there who's trying to get a processing chip, you feel my pain of it's not going well. It's not going well by any means. Very, very hard to get, very expensive when you do get one. And I ordered a good one. I got the 3080, I think Ti, but I ordered one that I'm like proud to have, and I know it's going to be a solid piece of technology. It just takes forever to get. GME up 6.3% on the day, trading at 161. It did hit 163.82. AMC up 2.4% on the day at that 33.50 key level. IWM not really doing much. SPY not doing much. F the squawk box. It's all about the quack box. Can you explain RSI and what's high and low number for RSI? So RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. Let me show it to you right over here. Once again, this website is otctransparency.finra.org. This is a government website. They're all reported. Check it out. You don't have to just trust me for those numbers. Let's talk about RSI though. So on the bottom of the screen right now, I have the RSI, also known as the Relative Strength Index. This is one of the most common technical indicators, and it's referred to as a oscillator, as in it just oscillates up and down, and it has values of 0 to 100. And what it's doing is it's mapping out momentum. When it's very high, it's considered to be a lot of bullish momentum. And when it gets above 70, it's even considered to be overbought, as in like, hang on, the movement's gone too far. Let's look for a bit of a reversion. And then when you get very low, that's a lot of bearish momentum, and numbers below 30 are considered to be oversold. That's just common stuff. There are various ways to look at it. Sometimes people like to use it on different time frames. Sometimes people take into account more bars, less bars. If you want to know the math of how it's calculated, I do have a standalone video on this channel that explains that. So if that's something you're interested in checking out, like, feel free. We do have it there. But overall, what you need to know is it's a very common technical indicator that maps out momentum. A lot of people, when it gets above 70, they look to lock in profits or short. And a lot of people, when it gets below 30, they look to create a position or get out of a short position. Basically, when it gets too extreme in one direction or the other, they look for a reversion. So for example, right now, GME is very high. So it's some people, day traders, are probably saying, oh, okay, it's overextended. Let's look for it to take a breather. Sometimes the engine just gets a bit too hot. Now, is this a perfect rule? Absolutely not. I've seen it days where the RSI is at 80 plus the entire day and it just keeps running. I'm just saying generally how it's used and how people attempt to utilize it. But no technical indicator, no technical analysis, no charting. There's no perfect 100% accurate methodology in the stock market. And the reason for that is because it's one of the most complex, infinite, multivariable equations out there. Between what's going on, announcements, the current participants, there's really no way you could have something that has 100% accuracy. So with it, that's why there's no trading methodology that's ever going to be perfect. But the way you would use that is, think of it as if you were at a casino. You just always want to take realistic bets when the odds are in your favor. So you're always looking for scenarios to arise that the edge is in your favor. You have some sort of statistical thing backing you up of saying, hey, most of the time it plays out this way. And you just take that bet most of the time, properly respecting your own risk to reward. But overall, that's a quick rundown of RSI, one of the most common indicators. And it's very good to know what other traders are or aren't using, because if a lot of people are looking at this and are saying, hey, GME looks a little overextended, I think it might sell off, find a bit of support at 158, and then it might bounce off of 158. Right now, you don't want to be the person creating a position when it's super overextended, because the odds of it taking a breather are pretty high, and you don't want to get like basically whipsawed is the terminology people refer to it as. So when you see something very high, in my own trading, that's not when I'm creating a position. That's when I'm either saying, hey, I want to see if this rides out, or maybe I'm looking for it to take a breather and then create a position. But you don't want to chase an absurd runner. All right, we have that, and now we have the rockets and the magnets up with. If you're new to the channel, just know that the thing that holds true in the market is emoji-based trading. A lot of people, they think it's all about earnings per share, the revenue, good technicals. No, it's really about the quality of the emojis you have on your chart. And a lot of people are going to be like, wait, Matt, that's insane. Why would in any way emojis impact the chart movement? And my response to that is, if it didn't impact it, why would we have all these options? They wouldn't give you the options if they weren't meant for something. So of course they do it. Maybe one of these days you're thinking and you come up with a good idea of a good trade, bam, light bulb goes on in your head. There's just so many options here. And the reason all these options are here is because you're supposed to use them. Maybe you're going on vacation and you're going to be taking, I don't know, Southwest Airlines. Bam, you slap the airplane right on the chart, probably going to do better. It's right there. Like, for obvious reasons, magnets, we're using it to attract. Rockets, AMC going to the moon. It's very literal in the sense of how you can use them. This is why they give them to you, folks. They want you to use them. This is the dirty secrets that they don't want to tell you about Wall Street and hedge funds. If you go into pretty much any hedge fund, you're just going to see screens, like a mountain of screens that have all different types of emojis. And that's the secret that they don't want out there. All right. Someone asked, don't suppose you could check out the stock NSAV? Your thoughts on it? It's OTC, but I think it's worth a look-see. Ooh, it does not look. It looks. It looks like it's weak. It looks like it's breaking down and wants to come down even more. The next support is at like 5.3 cents, maybe even 3.6 cents. It looks pretty weak to me. If I were to play this, I would bet against it. I would not go long on it. Someone shouting out Tesla. Tesla made a nice run to 719. Remember, this is a region of resistance, so if it can break above it, that might look pretty good. But for now, I'd be a little bit calm. How is Hood doing? I think Hood is a pump and dump. That's my own personal opinion on it. I don't think it's worthwhile to bet on just because I think the rug is going to get ripped on it, in my own opinion. Well, it kind of already did from 85 to 57. I don't think this is going to stay up for much longer. AMC about to make a new intraday high, 6 cents off, 7 cents off, making that push above 34. I think if this momentum can hold, I think we could be looking at 36. How's the market doing? Actually, how is... I do own Bitcoin. I do own Ethereum. Both of these, okay. Very, very similar charts, kind of moving in lockstep. Interesting to see. DKNG, how's DKNG doing after the acquisition announcement? Not the best. Really not moving anywhere, honestly. Not moving anywhere. What else do we have going? Oh, PLTR is making a move. PLTR. Oh, Palantir's on the move. Palantir is one I have in my retirement account. I don't actively trade Palantir, but I do like it. I just like the sector it's in. From a it's in the world of data analytics, but just from my background in tech, why I specifically like it is its technology is multiple years ahead of its closest competitor. It is by far the gold standard of data analytics. And I do like Snowflake. It's kind of in that same realm, and I do own both. But Palantir, I just like it for a long-term hold. It's in my account, not really actively trading it. I like using the analogy of using basic strategy in blackjack. It's useful, but even when then you could still lose. Exactly. There's anyone guaranteeing anything to you in the stock market. They just don't know what they talk about. I mean, there's no such thing as 100% certainty. Hey, Cat, DYK, a green cat, was born in Denmark in 1995. It's believed copper in the water caused this. Also, thank you for your constant coverage. DYK, a green cat. I need to look this up. I want to see what a green cat looks like. Need to know what a green cat looks like. Whoa. Bulgaria's green cat. This is crazy. How can I show this to you folks? View all images. All right, hang on. These are not. Meowingtons.com. So just so everyone knows, there has been a green cat, which, hey, I kind of like it. I feel like this green cat could be the mascot of our community. Obviously not a dead cat and green candles, but yeah, the mystery of Bulgaria's green cat. So I guess subscribe meow for 10% off. Look at this cat. Interesting. A little green. I think a very good representative of our community. Not a dead cat, very green. Has to be good. That has to be a good sign. When will AMC burst? No one knows. We're kind of sitting here seeing how it plays out. No one can guarantee you anytime. This game of predicting a date and a price level, I think it's a fool's game because that's just not how the stock market works. Morning, Matt. Can you give your thoughts on NWBO, another victim of mass shorting and naked shorts about to release TLD and GBM vaccine? NWBO. Let me see if there actually is a short interest on it. NWBO. It's on the OTC market, and it is. Hang on. Its shares on loan are 7.3 million. How many shares are out there? No, it is not a highly shorted stock. NWBO has a very low short interest. There's about 850 million shares in the free float, and only 7 million are on loan. So that's actually a very, very small short interest. All right, what else do we have? Let's get Rich on, him explain himself. Shout out, Adam. Shout out AMC, looking hot, hot, hot. Still pushing 34. The current intraday high is 34.12. We're at 33.93 right now. And it's showing a little bit of momentum, strength. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. I like it. I like it. GME up 5.76%, trading above 160. IWM not looking the best, actually kind of boring. Tesla. What are you doing, Tesla? Do you think someone just pointed out a green cat from Bulgaria? Is that the exact opposite of Vlad? Is that Vlad's like counter soul? Alan becoming a space ape. I appreciate you joining up. Shout out, Alan. Good morning, Matt. Thoughts on FTFT? They're the ones who have a little bit of exposure to TikTok, right? Like they have some sort of investment in TikTok, I thought. Whoa, gap up on volume. So that's cool if you're in it. I would not chase it though. I mean, it's up huge. A lot of people in this community, and this happens a lot, especially with new traders, people get excited to chase big runners. Do not chase big runners. Once in a while, you'll make some money, yes. But if you do it time and time again, it's just a matter of time before you top ticket and end up losing all the money that you luckily made on chasing the other runners. Chasing a running stock when it's, I mean, this is big volume up on 2 days. Maybe you like fundamentally what's going on. It was a technical breakout, but I've just seen chasing end so bad so many times. So for me, I wouldn't touch it. If for whatever reason you like it fundamentally and you think it could break above the $4 to $4.26 resistance, okay. But the way I would look at it is this. Okay, it's at 350. If you were to get into 350 now, you have a 50 to 75 cent potential reward if it gets up here. But you're risking all the way down to 225, which is $1.25. That is a very bad risk to reward setup. You're risking $1.25 to make 75 cents after chasing a runner. I just don't like those odds personally. So it depends on where you get in. Whenever you're doing any trade, ask yourself, what is the potential risk? What is the potential reward? And if you're okay with that risk to reward, okay, have at it. For me though, on this current setup, I do not like the risk reward of FTFT. I think it could do well. I like the volume spike. I like the follow through. I think that's good. I just feel like I missed the boat. Frank Minter becoming a space ape. Shout out, Frank. Hey, Matt, is it me or do I see a Dutch tulip on the 5 days, 1 hour AMC resistance 34? Subaru's tits are jacked. All right, let's look at the Dutch tulip. Yes, look at this. The cup, the handle. We're looking for this breakout. Let's just, the high 34s, 35, maybe even roughly right here, 34. Yeah, I would say 34. Somewhere in this region, we have the cup, we have the handle. We know this is a bullish pattern. It's literally a big U followed by a smaller U and that breakout to the upside. The technicals of what's going on AMC right now, like just on this 4 or 5 day chart, like I like it. It's a bullish chart setup. That's not guaranteeing anything. We know we have support right here at 32 where it's previously been rejected, support. So that's an important level. I'm looking for that follow through where we can kind of break up. And then I think it'll be confirmed if we stay above the lower 35s right here, 35.24. But it's a bullish looking chart right now for sure. The old Dutch tulip. Someone just said MVIS is on the move. Not. I mean, it's up 3%, which is good. I would look for the breakout of 1620. If it gets above 1620, that might be an official change in direction on MVIS. Jagged Flame, shout out. What are my thoughts on Elongate? I'm keeping it way more simple, more of like the commonly known cryptos. I have no position on Elongate and really no thought out opinions on it. I think it's way better to stick to Bitcoin, to stick to Ethereum. I do have some Dogecoin. I do have some Algorand. Recently, I was talking into buying some Hex, but I don't understand what Hex is. I just thought it was more fun than anything. Not really much going on with Elongate. Like, I don't own it, and I have any plans on getting it. Tesla. No plans, no plans. Thoughts on XELA. XELA. This is the one that was looking like it wanted to break out. Okay, yeah, kind of swinging up. It's still looking bullish. Just so you know, if you get in here, for me, I would almost have to risk this most recent low of 283. So if you're okay with risking 50 cents, that's how I would risk it. And then I would see the resistance at 350. I would look for that breakout and hope it continues all the way up to $4. So if you like that risk reward setup, have at it. But I have no XELA position. Did you see that Workhorse miss on earnings and the short interest jumped up to 100%? Did it actually jump up to 100%? Workhorse has had a bad run ever since it missed out on the USPS contract. Let me check out the short interest on Workhorse. Right, the short interest. So the shares on loan roughly right now is 75 million. Is that 100%? I don't think that's 100%. It's a lot. I mean, the outstanding shares is 123. The free float roughly 93%. So let's just call that like 115. It's not 100% short interest, but it's a sizable short interest for sure, like a noteworthy short interest. I know we're just kind of splitting some hairs there at that point because it's considerable. But they probably, I mean, when something misses on earnings, like that's just the bet it's going to go down then. People are probably like, I didn't like what I heard at earnings. I think it's going to fall further. So they might have had a realistic take on why they think the stock's going to drop. I'm inherently not against shorting. I think sometimes shorting, when you have certain companies like Nikola, companies like Luckin, those companies deserve to be shorted because they're a faulty, fake company reporting and lying, and you should be able to short them. Like if you catch a company lying or doing something bad or, I don't know, spilling oil in an entire ocean, those companies deserve to be shorted. So I'm inherently not against shorting. Certain companies like Robinhood, I think deserve to be shorted. Obviously, these are like my own opinion, but just because you see something with a high short interest, that does not mean it's going to have a short squeeze. You cannot draw that correlation. A lot of the times when a company is being shorted, especially notably, it's for a good reason because a lot of people have the exact same thesis. It's rare black swan events such as AMC and GME that the storyline and the narrative is actually the complete opposite. You should not treat other highly shorted stocks like AMC and GME. It is a completely different story. Advice if your girlfriend shorts your personality. Oh, Elliot. Just hit her with a companies that deserve to be shorted. WeWork. Yeah, WeWork's another one, which is I know owned by like SoftBank. There are examples of companies where it's a realistic bet to bet on it going down because they somehow horrifically messed up, lied, they lost an FDA approval. I don't know. There's various examples. I'm not inherently against shorting, and a lot of the times when you see a high short interest, you don't want to bet against those guys because they might know something you don't, or they're betting for a good reason. That's why do not continue your trading career thinking other things are going to play out like AMC and GME. This is really the first time it's beyond a black swan event. This is not normal happenings, which is why it makes it such a cool story. Elliot. So Elliot, on your personality, just tell her to calm down. Just always hit her with a calm down. Shorting directly manipulates the price. If you think it's overvalued, buy puts and let the market decide. Yeah, I mean, everyone, when you're engaging in the market, you're betting on what you think it's going to go. Like, you might be right, you might be wrong. And I think it's a free market and people should be able to do what they want. If they think it's going to go up, down, sideways, backwards, I don't care. You should be able to bet on it. And so I'm not saying that the market should be transformed in a manner in which like only one directional bets are allowed. No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to say the stock market is tilted. It's not transparent. And the field is tilted in a manner in which it's an advantage to Wall Street insiders. And all I want is for the game to be equal across the board. I want it to be equally fair, equally unfair. All I want is for the game to be equal for all players. Certain things like payment for order flow ensure that the game's not equal. Certain methodologies such as pattern day trading in the US ensures that the game is not equal. It's very much a pay-for-play system, and the more money you have, it's easier to make more money because the rules are favoring you. That's all I want. I just want the game to be not tilted. I want it to be equal across the board for anyone engaging in the game. I trust Crypto Batman for Doge. Elon has a stake. I like Crypto Batman. I find his streams to be very entertaining for Doge. Very entertaining. Don't tell Matt to calm down. Shout out XL10. Shout out. Folks. All right. What other news do we have going on right now? I guess some political things. I guess Suicide Squad is not doing the best at the movie theater, I'm seeing. Looks like people are betting on Roblox RBLX. What else do we have? Nothing. It seems like specific to probably why you're tuning into this and listening. It sounds like everyone's just kind of waiting for the earnings call tonight. We're all on the edge of our seat in anticipation. It looks like Penn, which owns Barstool Sports, which is important because they have a sports book. It looks like it's expanding to 2 new states this week or next week. So that's getting more coverage in the states where they're allowed to gamble. So that's obviously big news for sports betting. What else do we have? Just looking. Nothing, kind of a quiet opening right now. For my listeners, AMC is at 33.43. We want it above 33.50. It's right there. It's in an overall wedge. This might be a better way for me to show it to my visual people right here. Right here. This is the situation we are in today. Here, if I were to do it like this, you could see the wedge we're in right now. We're basically getting rejected at the same level, but every time it comes back down, the bulls, the apes are getting more bullish, more apish, and buying earlier. That's why you're seeing it bottom out at a higher and higher level. 32.35, 32.40, 33 flat, and now 33.25. So every single time we're just seeing them step in earlier and earlier and earlier. So we just have this wedge formation, and now we're looking for the breakout. I mean, we hit 34.10 and then we hit 34.12. So this is the level that's holding just above 34. So in terms of a horizontal, let me switch it to this. I just wanted to kind of illustrate the wedge, but let's show you the levels of support. And then we also have this one that is proven to be support. All right, these are kind of the levels we are watching throughout the day, but mainly looking for a breakout of 34.10. Above 33.50 is very important. In fact, I'd rather move this one up to 33.50. Right there. So above this is good, and then above 34.10, that's an intraday breakout, and I think that could prompt a run all the way up to 36. Just want to do a quick technical analysis breakdown for you. What else do we have? Ooh, what is the volume? Good question. AMC 21, all right, 22 million, kind of light. It's not the most light. I guess it's kind of medium, but it seems a little bit light. And then GME is very light. We haven't even traded a million yet. 872,000. Shorting. All right, we did that. Keep calm and eat crams. Shout out. That's one methodology for it. One methodology. Thoughts on WorkX. WorkX. What is WorkX? WorkX. SC WorkX. What is this company? It's up a lot. There had to be some sort of announcement. Honestly, this is a good example, I feel, on why people shouldn't chase, because if you were chasing, look, it got rejected pretty much at its previous high. This is why it's useful to do a quick technical breakdown, because it got rejected a couple cents higher, and it could test it again and absolutely rip, but it's chasing. The point to get in this one was when it kind of reverted right around, I don't know, somewhere in here, and change this trend to start to make the overall U. But this might be setting up more for a cup and handle scenario. But I wouldn't chase this. If you do chase it, I wish you the best of luck. I hope it breaks out and run. But I've been burned too many times in scenarios like this. You do not want to be buying at resistance. You don't want to become a bag holder. So I wouldn't buy. That's a very aggressive buy. I don't know. To me, that's not the opportunity. I would have preferred to get back in here when it kind of broke above 213 type of a deal back in this. Now, it could get rejected here and completely plummet. I have no idea. The risk reward, and we have this gap under it, I would avoid it. Just not for me. Too risky. The reward is too low. PLTR. It's been a minute since people were excited about PLTR, but up 4.8%. That's awesome. Hit 23. I think 22.50, 23 is the cost basis in my retirement account. Like I said, I do own PLTR. Don't actively trade it. I just want to be in it for the long haul. If there's only 513 million real shares and the rest are fake, what will happen? Who will make it? The rest are not fake past 513 million. Remember, you have to take the shares outstanding and then also add on all the legally legitimate shorted shares, because those add on to when you're breaking down what is and isn't real. Those would be real because there is a real process in which you can short a stock. For example, if there's a stock in the world that there's only 10 shares of, and let's say I own all 10 and then I loan out 5. Well, right now, that means that there should be a legal, legitimate ownership of 15. So you wouldn't just base it on 10 and be like, oh, anything over 10, that's illegal, illicit. No, that's the very legitimate process referred to as rehypothecation. So do not use 513 as your base number. What you need to do to know where the break even point is of like, okay, hang on, no, this is actually messed up. You take the outstanding shares, add on all the shares on loan, and then basically from there, add a little bit of a buffer because we don't know all the shares on loan. We only get 85% of transactional volume. So you could add on another 15% if you think it's going to be proportional. And that's in terms of shares on loan. And then anything above that number, that's where it gets into the realm of counterfeit shares. Another thing you need to know is the term synthetic shares is 100% created by this community. I get why, just because like if you crack open a thesaurus, counterfeit, phantom, synthetic, it's all saying the same thing. Fake shares, it's all synonymous. But if you try to Google it, you should Google phantom shares. You should Google counterfeit shares, specifically that one, or you should just Google naked shorting. Because if you Google synthetic shares, you're going to come to more of a process of how you could track a stock without owning it. And that's done through treasury, bills, bonds, and like calls and puts, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of boring. But just so you know, synthetic shares is a terminology created by this community. It's not a widely accepted term. They still have to buy back synthetic shares. Well, that's because you're just saying that a naked, any short has to cover. Basically, a short or a naked short, at a certain point, they're not going to carry that short position until the day they die, especially because they don't want to just keep paying that cost of borrow fee. So it doesn't matter the type of short, legal or illegal. I mean, eventually they want to close the position, which involves them buying the stock back off of the market. Jesse becoming an astronaut, shout out. Matt, make a run and call it Ape K or 8K. Everyone wears an ape costume or have diamond hands. Also thoughts on MMAT. So this is the one that acquired TRCH and people were talking about it. I thought it was getting its teeth kicked in though. Is it moving? Still looking pretty bad to me. It shot all the way up and then got absolutely destroyed. I would be a little bit more interested if it can like turn around and get above $3.75, $4, $4.20. So somewhere between $3.75 and $4.20. If it starts to turn back around, that might be interesting. But right now, I would want to see a little bit of bullish momentum. Yeah, Billy Ray, we were talking about Rich Greenfield comments. They just seem horrifically wrong. Oh, shorting directly manipulates the price if you think it's overvalued, buy puts and let the market. Well, what do you mean by manipulate? If you short, that means that you're selling to create a position. If you go long, you're buying to create a position. I think people are using the word manipulate way too freely. Like, what do you mean by manipulate? When I think manipulate, I think it means that you're hiding or bloating demand or hiding or bloating supply, and hence breaking the rules of supply and demand. We're always following supply and demand, but if you're fictitiously showing or like hiding or bloating one of them, to me, that's manipulation. I mean, if you just like are using the Webster dictionary definition of manipulate, of having an impact, like a material impact, well, that happens whenever you buy or sell anything. So it means, are you talking more about the illegal manipulation, or are you just using like the dictionary definition of, okay, manipulate just means it has an impact? I think we need to all get on the same page, because it seems like people in this community are using those types of terms wrong, or not wrong, but I guess differently, and you can mean different things and have different connotation. Mason, I just went over XELA. If you want to scroll back a little bit, really like MMP with their dividends. MMP. You might like them with their dividends, but it looks like it's falling to 44.75 right now. So that would be support. If you really like the company, great. You're buying it on weakness. You're buying it at support. If it breaks through 44.75, I would then pay attention to 44, basically. Like this, it is coming up on a region of support. I have no idea what this company does. I don't know the sector it's in. But if you're a fan of it, you want to buy it on weakness, not on strength. You want to target levels of support and look for a rebound play. That's the best way to optimize your risk to reward. And I don't know much about their dividend. One of my favorite dividend stocks right now is still Microsoft. It's so easy. Microsoft, you just sit there, you own it, you collect the dividend. Every time you get 100 shares, you start getting into selling covered calls. But Microsoft, I think my average price on Microsoft is like 170. I've been in Microsoft ever since I was a youth in mid 2020, a lifetime ago. A year ago, when I didn't know what was up and what was down, I made a considerable position in Microsoft, and fortunately, it's been paying off. On top of that, getting the dividends, and for every 100 shares I get, I just start selling covered calls against it. One of my favorite things to do, and I've made some videos on it, and I want to do more, but like covered calls, it's just so easy. It's such easy money, folks. It really is. Every 100 shares you own, you sell a covered call against it and you collect that premium. And if it gets really close, okay, maybe you have to rebuy back your shares or maybe you get out of the call. But if you look at the statistics of selling premium, selling calls, selling puts, 95% of all premium expires worthless. When I'm saying it's a casino, like the casino's open, well, you know who always wins in the casino is the house. When you sell premium, you are the house then. And with me, I'm very conservative with it. I basically look at, just to give you a quick overview, I look at its average movement per day, and then I look at its 2 standard deviation move an entire month out. And then that's where I just sell premium, and I just do it wash, rinse, repeat. And as soon as you collect a certain percent, and that's your own methodology, whenever you're like, hey, I got this percent, great, lock it in and move on to the next. It's so easy. You're not ever, I think people get turned off of it because you're not going to have a crazy 100%, 1,000%, 10,000% gain. But what you are doing is you're consistently hitting first base hits over and over and over and over again. And you do that a couple of years, it adds up very quickly. What does Warren Buffett say? The 8th wonder of the world is compound interest. That's basically what you're doing. It's a monthly income strategy. And I think everyone should be once you learn about options, the thing you should learn after that, after you learn what a call and a put is, learn about covered calls. It's a conservative methodology. You're not going to have a crazy home run hit, but you will consistently make a little bit of money, and then that will add up over time. If you buy a call or put option, you can sell a call or put in the profits, but if you sell a call or put, you can't get out unless it expires worthless. No, Brambles, you can get out either way whenever you want. If you sell or buy, you can do the opposite all the way up until expiration. Vaxart is setting up, Vaxart is setting up nicely. Shout out Pushing on Purpose. Hey, Mark, I just want to thank you for your education, fun banter, and good conversation. Keep it up and check your oil. Shout out, Ken. All right, we have right here AMC coming back around 33.50. I'm telling you, we have this wedge, this pattern of higher lows. It's a beaut, Clark. It's a beaut. Big man Dan, shout out. Shout out, Big man Dan. All right, what else do I want to make sure that I'm doing this right? We're still going over here. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Do I have any thoughts on Mara? My opinion on Mara is if you like the crypto sector, I find it exponentially easier to just play crypto directly. Riot and Mara move in a frustrating way where sometimes you think that they should be correlated and running with crypto, and then they don't because there's other external factors such as increased competition within the crypto mining sector. So if you are just bullish on crypto, we'll just play crypto. I've gotten beat up way too much on Riot and Mara. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. But even when you get the crypto call right in Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera, sometimes the stock doesn't move the way you want it to, and then it becomes incredibly frustrating. So for me, I just, and hey, maybe you figured out the best play on Riot and Mara, but for me, it's been way, way easier to literally just say, hey, I'm going to get Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano or something like that, Algorand, Solana. I'm trying to think of what else I have. I do like Ripple, but I don't own any just because it's like a pain in the ass to actually get. What else is out there? Doge I own. Hex I own. There's so many. The way there's so many stocks, there's so many crypto, and the way I don't know. I don't know everything about every single stock. I don't know everything about every single crypto. If anything, my crypto knowledge is less than my stock market knowledge. I'm trying to learn more so I can teach it to all you guys. But like, I just feel like I know a decent amount of like a handful of them. And when everyone's like, because there's so many cryptos popping up, they're like, what about this one, this one, this one? I'm like, I'm trying to learn, but I want to become way more knowledgeable in the main ones opposed to spreading myself way too thin with like all the ones that pop up every single day. When, if AMC runs, can those who are short ones from Ortex close positions to drop the short interest, make it seem like it's over? And when there are more to cover. So when they cover, we'll know 2 days later for sure, because that's when we'll see the shares being returned. But remember, I don't really buy this concept of the ones that are being reported, those ones covering and not the naked shorts, because there's a very good chance that these hedge funds who are short don't know if they have a naked short or a normal short. Remember, those are created by the prime broker. There's a very, very good chance that a hedge fund has no clue if their short position is legitimate or not. It's not like they go out of their way to say, oh, I specifically want a naked short. What happens is the hedge fund calls up and just says, I want a short. And then the prime brokers, being the greedy assholes that they are, no matter what's going on, even if they don't have the shares to loan out, they'll say, sure, go short, we'll figure it out. So like I said, I don't think this concept of the hedge fund saying, oh, we'll cover these, but not the naked shorts. There's a very good chance that they don't even know they have a short or a naked short or what's going on. The issue to me right now, the main culprit in the stock market are market makers and prime brokers. Obviously, hedge funds do other illicit things, but that more so relates to insider trading and bribery, and that's bad and that's illegal and that should be fixed. But if we're talking about the issues in stock market plumbing of how the stock market itself functions on the most basic mechanical level, I'm telling you, look at the market makers, look at the prime brokers. The way you said it, crayon, it's crayon. Oh, I say crayon. Crayon. Does that bother other people? Do we say crayon or crayon? Crayon, 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 crayon. I don't know. I'll just go eat a few and think about it. Shout out, shout out, shout out. All right, folks. So that is it for the morning session. I will be back at 2 p.m. I'm going to be streaming from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to take a break, and then we're going to be streaming the earnings call at 5 p.m. Eastern. So basically, this is it for the morning session, and then we're going to be back at 2 p.m. and then back again at 5 p.m. Just so everyone knows that's what's going on for the day. I appreciate all the support early this morning. Don't forget, like, subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to do that on Rumble. Don't forget to do that on Twitch. If you want new trading, pinned to the top of chat is public. Public. No payment for order flow, not dealing with market makers, who, like I said, is one of the worst parts of our stock market right now. And you can get up to $70 free of stock. So it's completely free trading. And I'm not saying you have to transfer your shares or anything like that. But for your future shares, like your future buying, if you want to go out of your way to make like a little bit of a dent, and if enough people do it, it will hurt market makers. We need to stop or like routing our orders to market makers. And one way you could do that is public. It's pinned to the top of chat. So shout out to them for making something that's actually a little bit more fair for retail traders. So overall, thank you for the support, and I will catch you guys in the afternoon. And remember, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.